I have been developing a game for a year, but back when I started there was just two big problems. Firstly, I knew nothing about game development, so I just decided to start so I could learn. And secondly, I was dumb. And that's why I have failed learning game development. To understand how and why and how you can avoid the same mistake I did, we must go 2 years back in time when I was a kid and dreamed of making my own games. Back then, I watched many videos where game developers recommended the best ways to start the dev journey, and in every video I found the same answer. Make a lot of stuff, many small games, and don't try to do anything big at first. That will teach you the basics and so you can move on to bigger challenges. Well, obviously I didn't listen. First, 2 years ago I was trying to do a platformer, just like Celeste, with unbelievably good level design, story and everything. And just in case you were already going to write in the comments that
why is the video titled 1 year, not 2?
Well, firstly I can count to 2 and secondly there's going to be a twist. So yeah, I was a bit naive. I had only some graphics made, although this one screen looks kinda sick. Anyway, soon I understood that I'm not ready to do that kind of projects yet. So did I start by easy and simple, for example by making Pong? Well, I wouldn't have asked that question if I had. I had an idea for a mobile game, and I thought that it's just a little project of mine and it won't take too long to make. Well, it turned out that without any coding experience or basically any experience in the first place, it isn't that easy. There's a lot of skills needed when we are talking about game development. I couldn't code, my drawing skills were similar to 5-year-olds and heck, I didn't even speak or understand English very smoothly. And almost every tutorials and stuff is in English, so it's quite clear that my motivation peak flopped. And that's why this video is called 1 year of development, not 2, cause, well you know, I didn't develop anything for a year. While waiting the year to pass by, let me quickly tell you what kind of mobile game I was planning to make. Jetpackers, name still in development, like everything else here, is a game where you fly around with jetpacks using just 2 buttons. One button controls one side and other controls the other. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. It's weirdly hard, but fun. Or at least I hope it will be fun. I'm still working on that part, so yeah. 1 year after I had quit, I understood that I could face the problem from a different angle and I can just make it a bit simpler. And I did, and it started to work. And that was the moment I understood that every problem isn't always a problem, at least when starting game development. If you can keep yourself solving or finding another way around the problem, you will be making progress in learning. But to be honest, I still hate bugs. The idea behind this mobile game project was that I would learn the basics of game development, but I found out that developing a fun little game is hard. At least it was for me, because, well, as I said, I'm a bit dumb. But it didn't matter back then. I was enthusiastic towards this game project, so I made new features, and while developing those, little by little, I started to feel like I'm learning. Let me give you a quick rundown of what I actually accomplished during this time. Well, first I had a problem with Jetpack leaving the screen, so I developed a screen wrap. And to avoid the game feeling too boring, I added spikes to give some obstacles. Of course, I needed a game over screen, cause, well, you're going to hit those spikes a lot. And then I made score system, so you'll have something to improve. Then I made save system to save your scores, and also a looping background. Well, I think the reason is quite obvious. After that I made also a level generator, cause, well, before the gameplay looked like this. Yeah, and then I also made some little animations, but those were just a piece of shit, so let's not mention those at all. And after that I could have called it ready. It could have been just a little boring game with janky controls and terrible sprites, and I could have moved on to next projects to learn new kind of stuff. But I didn't leave it there. I really wanted to make a real playable game and publish it. See, I have heard of many developers being stuck in a loop where they make almost finished games and never get them ready, and I want to avoid that. I started to work on the menu, even though the game felt horrible to play, but somehow I thought that a good menu is the most important thing in games and would change everything. Did it? Well, kinda. I've been working on the menu and at the same time the actual game, and I have done some, well, pretty obvious things, like currency, so there would be something else to work towards than just scores, skin shop, so money wouldn't be useless, and well, look at these skins, I mean, I love them, especially this one. Then I wanted to have some variation to the actual gameplay, so I made a level selection, although I have to admit that there is still just a one level, but that should be quite easy to add more in the future. Then we'll get to these changes that were maybe not that obvious, cause I added a fridge full of choices. The idea behind this is that I want to add a strategic aspect to the game. I'll make it so you can choose a couple of choices and those will give a certain effect, which will help the player to reach new high scores. This feature isn't ready yet, but I'll make a video about it soon. Or actually, I shouldn't say soon, I think like in a year or something. I also borrowed a gas path from hill climb racing to my game, and so far it has been almost the best improvement yet. You know, stealing others' ideas isn't that bad idea at all, and I wanted to have some other way to get those choices than just normally buying those, so I added a gambling game. And soon after that I got some feedback from my friend, and he said that I have to improve the graphics, cause for example the previous background, yeah, way too bright. So I changed the look of the game, just like that. Yeah, this graphics overhaul took way longer than I expected. Mostly because it wasn't too motivating to just redo graphics, but also because I suck at it, and yeah. There has also been some challenges that I just couldn't solve. For example, these curtain sprites kept doing like this in this one single spot. Those worked perfectly in every other place. So I found the best way to solve this problem. I didn't do anything about it. I had this one sprite that was meant to look glitched, so I changed that there. And I mean, that's something I could have done on purpose. In my opinion, that was kinda creative. All in all, I have learned a lot of stuff, and now I know some basic elements of coding, but I have watched many other YouTubers do this kind of video where they show how much progress they have done in a year, and I was like, what? Like how the games they did the first day look like my game, but just with much better graphics and gameplay and, well, you name it, everything. And another thing I noticed was that how many games they have done in a year. Meanwhile, I have been making this one single little mobile game. I really wouldn't recommend this way of starting to anyone unless you are really talented, or as dumb as I am. Because if you are, welcome to the club. I think we are never going to learn it completely. Anyway, another mistake I did was that my expectations were too high compared to the time I have worked this on. I have school and work and, you know, just real life stuff to do, so I can't do it every day. Heck, sadly not even every week or month. So remembering that, I guess it's alright. But I think I should have listened to the wiser guys than me about how to start learning game development. They probably know what they are talking about, and making little games would have taught me different kind of problems to solve and to use Unity much more flexibly. But hey, at least I have this one project, which has really been a great experience, and I'll continue developing it. To be clear, I'm not regretting making this project. It has been amazing to come up with new ideas and seeing I can do stuff myself. I hope I can rush this to its end and continue to next projects, or maybe do a couple of little projects while making this one. I don't know yet. I would just really like to challenge myself to do a couple of different kind of games. If you'd like to see more content about the future changes I'll make, consider subscribing. I mean, otherwise you'll most likely never hear about me anymore. Which is probably something you really want, but anyway. I hope you all have a good day. Bye.